with the come on, get down with the get down. Come on with the come on, get down with the get down. What's up, y'all? It's your main man, Jay Sands, and this is Sensei on Sports Season 3, Episode 59. Now, if you listened last week, you know the episode was 58, and that was the Jack Lambert episode. Well, now we're on 59, and we're going to the Jack Ham. We're doing my linebackers from the Steelers in the 70s. So this is the Jack Ham from Penn State episode right here. And we have great guests, not normal guests. We have great guests, but also we got Sensei on Sports in the building. Sensei, how you doing, bro?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I can't complain. A lot of good things happening this week. I can't complain, brother.
No doubt. Well, hey, we're going to keep this moving, man. So we have one returning guest, Soren Baker, who was on Sands on Sports earlier. But we have two new guests since the relaunch. They were on the old Sands on Sports in like 2009, but now they're on Sensei in Sports. So first we have my brother, Ari Bykofsky.
Yeah, you
right?
got it. Yeah, you got it.
Okay, Ari, can you do me a favor and give the people a 20-second bio about yourself?
Yeah, man, longtime media guy, mostly in the audio space. Worked at XM and then Sirius XM when the Death Star took over. For several years as an executive producer, and also worked, in the podcast space for V Sporto, which no longer around, and various other networks too. Now just kind of floating around, hanging out with y'all.
Forget all that. Proud Papa.
There we go.
Proud Papa.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, my daughter's 16 months today.
Yes.
So there we go. Yeah.
Hold on. We gotta give it up for baby girl. Oh, birthday.
Quarter birthday.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Okay, Dave, can you give us a little? Well, no. All right, back to you. I'm sorry, because we gotta legitimize your appearance. What's your favorite football team?
New York Giants.
Okay, basketball team.
New York Knicks. All right, Knicks. There we go.
And baseball team.
Yankees.
Okay, you got a hockey?
Rangers.
Okay, let's go. All right, now we're going to my brother, Dave. Dave, thank you for taking the time to come on the show. Now, brother, can I get a 20-second bio about yourself, please?
Well, first, name's Dave Zirin. I write about sports, and I'm very curious why there's never been a porn star named Jack Ham. Just sitting here thinking about that for a second, like Jack Ham.
Okay.
My goodness.
Check us out. Not to slow things down, but I gotta slow it down just a second, Dave. Just to put this out here. Okay. Cause I'm a music dude, I gotta put my music out there. I actually did an album under an alias like a year ago called Jack Hammer, and it's all dirty raps, like Too Short. But anyway, go ahead, Dave. 20 seconds.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's absolutely wild that I said that, and you have this whole persona. Oh. That's wild.
Forgive me, divorce.
Yeah, I'm gonna tweet about this right now. Jack Hammer.
Jack Hammer.
I got it. It's not subtle. I write about sports. I write sports books about politics, and the latest book is called The Kaepernick Effect: Taking a Knee, Changing the World. It just dropped last week.
Awesome. Congratulations on that. And can I have your favorite football team, please?
I've just a quick explanation. I'm born and raised New Yorker, but I've lived out here in these D.C., Maryland parts for quite a few years. So I'm going to say some stuff that will earn me some enemies back home going public with this. But if you're talking about what's in my heart, my favorite football team is the Baltimore Ravens.
Soren, were you talking to the... Come on, you guys must know each other. You guys, there has to be something going on.
No, we're Ravens flock in this house. My wife's from friggin' California.
All right, what about basketball?
Your Washington Wizards.
Woo! And what about baseball?
This is the one. I grew up Mets fan in my blood. I was at Game 6 of the 86 World Series. My room was wallpapered with everybody. If you had a cocaine problem on that team, you were on my wall, without exception. In other words, I had everybody but Gary Carter.
Okay. Yeah, you got it.
But I've got a son, and he loves the Orioles, and it's cheap, and it's a 30-minute drive.
Wow, Dave.
So
you got turned out in Baltimore? What happened
Yes.
to Baltimore that turned?
So it's
Wow.
like a missing episode of The Wire.
Yes, it is. Wow. Well, hey, check this out. What about hockey?
Oh, the Rangers.
Okay, and this is for Dave and Ari. What sports did y'all play growing up?
Baseball, basketball, but I sucked at it.
Okay.
But we also had like a quota on our basketball team, DC Public School at the time, the coach there. But I played baseball in high school, championship, Woodrow Wilson Senior High School. We dominate DCIAA play in baseball. So, yeah, I played, some outfield, some third base, some second base. I have a worst arm ever, but, still played. So, yeah, baseball.
And what you do, Dave?
Man, I was the starting center for my high school basketball team, and I'm 5'10". It was just we were the fighting Quakers, and
isn't that an oxymoron?
I know, no, it's ridiculous. It's like calling us the jumbo shrimp. We're the fighting Quakers. We're military intelligence.
Oh man, this is right, dude. Okay.
Yeah, so I started at center. We came in second in our division. I regularly had to guard people like 6'8", 6'9", and it was just like my coach said to me, is like, you can either be a senior who is a wing player who does not play this year, or I can have you just bump into people down low while my other players can score. So that seemed like a pretty good deal to me, because isn't it all about playing time? I mean,
it is all about playing time. I want some burn. I'm gonna have a bad attitude, so yeah, I need some burn. Well, yo, Soren, I ain't forget about you, brother. I was a little thrown off by Dave being a Ravens fan, because I'm in Baltimore. I got to deal with the Ravens. I got Soren with you. He loves to read, writes books about the Ravens. Oh man, what the? So anyway, Soren, how you doing, brother?
Great, man. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
And the new book you have out still?
Yeah, it's Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness. In stores now, and she'll be having a paperback coming soon, actually.
Soren, the book writer, no doubt, man. And your favorite team's the Ravens, so we don't go blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. So, fellas, can we just recap, last week in the NFL? This sports podcast, man. We can't just be joking all that, man. We got to talk. First of all, with me, I only got one thing. The Steelers, they broke my heart. Vegas beat the Ravens, so I said, "Hey, this is the layup for us." Vegas is traveling across country after a win. Yeah, I'm not even pulling a terrible towel out this week. I'm just leaving it right now. Yeah. What are some highlights though that you guys picked up from last week though? But Mahomes losing.
As a Ravens fan, the number one highlight, you think I'm going to say the Ravens game, but I'm not. I was going to say the dissension in the Steelers locker room after that egg they laid against Las Vegas. The press conference of Roethlisberger throwing his OC under the bus, and it was.
Hasn't that become almost an annual or biannual exercise though? That's
True.
Pretty much standard operating procedure at this point.
But just give me more.
Yeah.
Wow.
Straight into my sleep.
Wow.
And then obviously the Lamar Jackson jump pass. I mean, I will never forget that.
Yeah, that was pretty amazing.
I'm not even a fan, and that game made me happy, because anytime I can see a disturbed look on Mahomes' face, it makes me happy.
Yes.
It's like, for some reason, I get it, but Tampa Bay exposed them last year in that one game, and their defense sucked. So they're going to always have games like that until their defense buckle up. So I would think that because they at the top, that was an important game. And my man, I just felt good for him, because I know we all know how that feels when you get some shit off your back that you know been dropping you for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really human. like seeing Lamar do that. It's just like it made me feel good.
So, you're a Giants fan. How you're right? You're a Giants fan?
Yeah, I'm shaking my head because I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah, that game. What, Monday night or was it
That
Sunday?
game? Oh my gosh, man!
Man,
How are you going to lose with the special teams coach, right? I call him Judge Judy, whatever his name is, Judge, whatever. But how are you going to lose, right? On a special teams play at the end of the game, like it's just a poorly coached team. It turns out that he actually wasn't offsides.
Okay.
But the fact that you're even that close and you suck that bad, you're not getting the calls, right? When you're bad, you don't get the calls. Of course the Giants lost that way. Of course they lost that way because that's what bad teams do. They lose in bad ways. And the Giants are now an organization at this point. I think John Mara is like the Dolan, Jimmy Dolan's of with the lobotomy. It's just, he's that bad of an owner. It's just a bad organization, top to bottom. I mean, Daniel Jones, I mean, my goodness, he can't find an opportunity to really turn the ball over. He has all this skill. He's a great arm. He can run and everything. And then all of a sudden it's just like brain fart, something happens. It's just, I don't, he's Dave Brown 2.0, it's just, as a Giant fan, it's miserable watching. I'm also a Miami Hurricane fan. Times just suck right now, man, from a sports perspective, from my life right now. My sports life right now, and the Yankees, and Aaron Boone's about to blow up the Yankees right now. He's going down the stretch, so it's just a fun time being a sports fan in my shirt right now.
so counseling and therapy, I guess, is booming in New York City.
I'm telling you, man. It's the Knicks, man. It's all about the Knicks. The Knicks at this point isn't that the irony? Have this great kind of potential coming up where all the other teams, sports teams, are garbage, and the Knicks are now all of a sudden on the rise, so it's.
I don't want to jump out the NFL too much, but
I'm just saying in general.
Are you guys getting Ben Simmons?
Who's we?
The Knicks.
No, hell no.
Okay,
no way.
He wants to get out of Philly. I was just asking. It's a big topic. He wanted to get out of Philly.
There's a Wizards rumor I'm hearing.
Of course.
Yeah.
For who?
Yeah.
Would you do this? Davis Bertans.
Yes.
Denny Avdia,
yes.
And 2 number 1s for Ben Simmons.
No.
I wouldn't do that. Well, hey, man, we're going back to the NFL.
Right.
The Buccaneers. The Buccaneers are basically the Buccaneers now. So this is what they do. They blow teams out. This is going to be the whole season with Brady, that Brady's just going to be Brady, that we all know and love to hate.
I don't know, man. I think it's kind of like – oh, go ahead, Al. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Soren.
I was going to say I think it's going to be kind of like the Mahomes thing. As we all know on the call, once Brady gets hit a couple times in a game, he's not really the same guy. So I think whoever is that first team to start smashing them a few times, I think the tide will turn. So that to me is really the main thing that's going to determine what's going on with the Buccaneers. If they can protect him the entire season, it's going to be a long season for the rest of the NFL, but I don't really see that happening. So let's see.
Wow. Funny about that. I remember him going into games where some defenses like Pittsburgh and Baltimore, he would be scared as hell to go in there to play on a Sunday. There are no defenses like that to stop him. So it's almost like a cakewalk when you watch him playing against these defenses because they all young and he's the oldest guy on the field. He got the most experience. He's been seeing every goddamn defense that can be thrown at him. So all these guys are new cats going against him, and all he asks him to do is go protect me, and I'll do what I got to do. But let him see that tap dance, Gregory Hines in that backfield, then we'll see what's going to happen.
There it goes. Well, hey, fellas, you hear the sound? That means the first quarter is over, and we are going into the second quarter. All right, so to start the second quarter off, man, I kind of want to just go back to how I met you guys, Ari and Dave. And it was through Sports Talk Radio, my desire to be a sports radio talk host. Like like JT the Brick or somebody. That's what I wanted to do. So in my journey, I met you guys, and you had me up in XM or whatever. But forget that stuff. I just noticed that when I first started listening to sports talk radio on AM radio to now all the podcasts and everything, I just want to get everybody's opinion on sports talk radio and what it is now and where it's headed or going, leading towards the future.
I guess I'll go because I guess I've been an executive.
Yeah, you're the technical guy. Yeah.
Yeah. First off, I've always been critical of the old style of sports talk radio, which was very, homogenous and very just narrow in what they would cover. And I thought that the ratings reflect that in most cases, because the ratings in most cities with these guys sucks. Like the local, it's not good. It's always low. The one thing that I liked, and one of the things that I was trying to do at XM, was to kind of expand that, to get away from that. It's one of the reasons why I thought Dave's show Edge of Sports was, in my opinion, if it was up to me, if I was the CEO of the company, would have expanded that type of concept further, and invested a lot more in it, because I thought it dove deeper and it kind of provided more of a nuanced and layered and just more complex view of how the sports world operates, and is an important aspect of the sports world, and it was pretty damn popular of a show, I would have to say, in a concept. I think podcast has allowed that to kind of expand, to get outside of the typical middle-aged, which I am now, white guy kind of complaining about, mostly African-American athletes, jocks, messing up or whatever, doing this or that. And then, being very mostly right-wing, in a way, kind of, I think podcasting has kind of developed more of that nuance that is necessary. The thing is that there's not like a network kind of collectively putting them together at this point in those perspectives. That would be nice. Unfortunately, I think that a lot of the executives that still exist at these levels aren't willing to take those risks. They're still kind of stuck in that old model, and that's always been my challenge, that as I've always gone against the grain in that sense. But there is a lot of new voices, and the playing field is getting leveled out and I guess democratized, for lack of a better word. So it's interesting to see, and you get to guide your own ship now with, like finally, without having to lean on another platform to do that. It would be nice to collectively work with others too that have similar visions that you do, to be able to put things together to actually expand the audiences and combine and converge audiences. But that's maybe down the line.
Got you. You said something interesting. You said mainly white men, and that's one thing. Like I listen to all the sports talk shows in Pittsburgh. I wake up at 6, 7 a.m. I'm listening to 93.7. I'm hearing the Steelers, unless they lose. If they lose, I don't want to hear nobody crying about stuff. I'm done. But majority of my days, I'm listening to Pittsburgh local sports talk radio. That's what I listen to, and it's like back when they had Bell and they had Antonio Brown. They were kind of like wilding out, and you would just hear these white guys talk about Brown and Bell in such a like way. I wasn't on Bell and Brown's side, but the way they would just talk down about the like they weren't human beings, like they weren't men, like they were. It just like irks me sometimes when I hear these. And think about it, nationwide, it's not just white men. You got Stephen A. Smith, but in Pittsburgh is a majority white city, so everybody in sports radio in Pittsburgh is basically white. So you just hear these comments, kind of like snide remarks, kind of related to hip hop. Well, if you wasn't listening to hip hop music, recording in the locker room. If Bell wasn't trying to record a hip hop album, then maybe he would be running more touchdowns than Big Ben. And it's just like, man, y'all don't really get it. It's like a culture, man, and y'all don't get it. So that's what I picked up when you said that, bro. But anyway, anybody else got anything to add on to the sports radio content?
I think Dave probably got that aspect of it too.
Yeah, I mean, do you guys still listen? I mean, I listen to AM radio. I listen to podcasts.
Look.
I still listen to AM local radio and on my phone. You know, I listen to 1300 in Baltimore. Sometimes I listen to 107. And shout out to Jerry. Who's the guy in Baltimore? Jerry
Sandusky.
Jerry Sandusky. Bro. Hey, you want to get taken off podcast, man. Not Jerry Sandusky. Jerry Coleman.
But Jerry Sandusky is a terrific announcer.
But let me say this.
Jerry Sandusky, he is in Baltimore.
Yeah, he's terrific. And that he shares a name with a notorious pederast is unfortunate, but he's very good at his job.
Yes,
now let me say this though. The thing that amazes me when I listen to this talk show or sports talk, which I try to do as little as possible other than football season, is the amount of the experts that are just wrong about the facts that they talk about. It's literally habitual that they're just wrong. And when you watch the play-by-play announcers, this was a big thing with Greg Gumbel, I guess, last year. He kept calling Lamar Jackson Kyler Murray. He referred to he said it at least 2 or 3 times during the game. Yeah. During the Ravens game, he called him Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So look it up if you guys want to look it up. But that's the thing that amazes me. Sadly, I guess, even though he gets critiqued, he doesn't fall into the white man category, even though there's a lot of lampooning.
Greg Gumbel, did y'all hear him recently butcher the soccer? They had Greg Gumbel doing soccer on it because I guess he's on CBS. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But they picked up soccer, so now they got Greg Gumbel doing soccer, and he doesn't know how to pronounce any other names.
But I say all that to say, the thing that's so disappointing is that you would figure, especially since the NFL in particular is such a billion-dollar enterprise, that the people they would pick and these networks would pick to discuss the stuff would at least know who they're talking about, be informed, like have some rudimentary knowledge of what they're referring to or what they're discussing, and they really don't, including the former players. A lot of times they'll say stuff and it's just totally baseless. Or they'll say, for using Lamar, since we're talking about Baltimore stuff, they'll say he can't throw in the pocket or he can't do this when he led the NFL in touchdowns in 2019. So how can a guy that outthrew for touchdowns the whole NFL not be able to throw the ball? It's unfathomable to me. But
it's like a narrative they have on him as a player. No different than Michael Vick. Like, Vick threw a lot of balls and had a good-ass arm. But because he could run, they called him a running quarterback. Most of the time he had to run because they was after his ass. I would say Michael Vick was one of the most sought-after quarterbacks to get. I mean, like, they wanted to actually hurt to get him out the game. That's why it's also good to see him as an analyst right now, because I remember, besides the dog fighting shit, like, he was considered one of the good and, at the time, great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And
all they did for him sports-wise was put him in a box. Yeah. It was like him fighting out of it. That's the crazy thing. If he'd ever had Greg Roman as an offensive coordinator, Michael Vick would have run for 1,600 yards. Like, there were no designed runs for him in that Falcons offense. Like, everything was because, like you said, people were just after his ass and he had to scramble and run. Like, we barely tapped the incredible potential of that guy, I swear.
Oh, yeah. No question.
Hey, check this out. I know everybody's on schedule. Me too. So check this out. We're ending the second quarter, and we are going into halftime. Now, for everybody who don't know, El Sensei knows, I am in Master Ace's Pick'em League. Master Ace, he was boycotting the NFL for like 3 years, but before that, he had a Pick'em League, and I was coming in last place every time. But guess what? It's a new year, new day. I'm in the Pick'em League. I'm in second place right now. So yo, I need y'all help.
Second place, the first loser, bro.
Wait, Wait, time out.
Yes, sir.
Master Ace?
From the Juice Crew.
Yeah.
Check it out. Master Ace, who used to coach high school football
In Jersey, right?
Brooklyn.
Oh, I thought
Master Ace was a high school football coach, like from 2000 and all. Yeah, Master Ace coached. What's that?
He coached Irvington High School, not too far from me.
He was coaching in Jersey too. Yeah, Master Ace is a high school football coach. Just like
Irvington, yeah.
Look at the DBs out there.
Hey, look. I don't think people know the knowledge of Ace. Like Ace is big time football dude. Like
no idea.
He had all the Madden game leagues he had in New York. He used to have everybody meet up at a spot in New York. This was numerous places he used to take it with, like traveling around, and he would have maybe 20 people or a little bit less, like in this bar playing Madden, and like way before a lot of these leagues was born. And you know, if you follow him, like this has been his thing since like the INC days when he was like mostly on Delicious Vinyl. So I always bugged out off of that. Like this guy is a quiet dude, but in sports fan ways, he's big. So
I gotta get him.
Master Ace was in Madden 1 year, right? Because he was messing with EA Sports heavy. So I think Master Ace was in Madden 1 year.
Yeah.
It's just like the soundtrack of my mid '90s. You know, it's like I mean we would get, and that's just why I'm so blown away. It's like the freestyle tapes, the underground tapes. Name's Master Ace. Don't be hating. I'm my own dick so hard. You should call me masturbating. I mean this. just hearing this just makes me love him all the more.
Original Crooklyn Dodger, which is one of the Special Ed and Buckshot.
Yeah. Well, hey, check this out. Forget all that. We're gonna go to my picks. I need help with my picks because I'm in second place, and the dude in first place was talking crazy. So, the first game is tonight. I got Carolina at Houston, man. Who do you guys got, man? Hey, if you guys are, like you can't take picks because of, how you work and conflict of interest, just let it be known, and I'll just call you a pussy and you don't do the pick. So Carolina and Houston, who you got, Ari?
I'm gonna go with Carolina because Houston's got like this quarterback that they, found at I don't know, at Cracker Barrel or something.
Okay. What about you, Sensei?
I'm gonna have to say Houston because I got Brandon Cooks on my fantasy team, so I'm hoping this Cracker Barrel quarterback do good tonight and give my man some points.
I know that. What about you, Soren?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to roll with Carolina. Their defense is looking pretty stout right now.
Okay, got you. And what about you, Dave? Who you got tonight?
I mean, come on, the game's in Houston, but Sam Darnold is playing like the Sam Darnold we thought Sam Darnold could be. And you couple that with everybody's fantasy god, Christian McCaffrey, and I see Carolina winning this quite handily.
Got you. Okay, what about Tampa Bay going to L.A., man? That's my last NFL one. Tampa Bay going to L.A.
Chargers.
Wait, is it Chargers or is it the Rams?
Rams.
Aaron Donald from Pittsburgh.
No. Which LA team they playing? Chargers or the Rams?
The Rams.
They're gonna lose.
Okay.
Rams gonna bust them up.
You said the Rams gonna bust them? The Rams gonna bust them up?
They playing the Rams?
Yeah.
This will be the game we will see Tom Brady tap there. I'll give you that right now.
Wow.
Donaldson will get to him, no problem. I think this will be the game. We're gonna see it.
Yeah, that everybody agreed that Brady's in trouble this game?
I
think so.
Wow. Okay.
What did Justin Tuck teach us in that Super Bowl where the Giants denied them is that Brady's kryptonite has always been pressure up the middle, and we're talking about Aaron freaking Donald.
Yeah, you get you like this, just
yeah.
From Pittsburgh.
It's gonna be a shootout though.
After 4-1-2, Aaron Donald from the hood. Yo, so check this out, man. We're gonna do one college game, and then we're gonna go into third quarter. Okay, I picked a Midwestern game because I am at heart a Midwestern boy. I went to University of Cincinnati. My man Soren went across the street to Xavier University. You know what I mean? So, boom, we got Notre Dame versus Wisconsin, a big corn-fed Midwestern slow football game, tractor pulling football game. So, yo, man, who do you guys like in this game right here?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with Notre Dame as much as it pains me to say it, but I'm going to go with Notre Dame. In a close one, Wisconsin is okay.
Yeah.
But Notre Dame will get all the calls, as they always do.
That right there, sir, I believe you.
Yeah, I've noticed that myself once or twice over the years.
A lot of years. Even though I think Notre Dame going to win, too.
All right, what do you think, Dave?
Give me those Badgers.
Ooh, I'm going with the Badgers. Hey, Dave, I'm going with the Badgers too, brother. So we're gonna pop a bottle if they win and stone these fools who went against it, man. But yo, halftime's over. We are going into the third quarter. And hey, fellas, the third quarter, I got one of the biggest San Francisco 49er fans in America right here on my podcast. He's the host of this shit, Elder Sensei. And we're gonna talk about the Kaepernick effect. The book my man Dave just put out. I heard him on Levitar, you know what I mean? So you was on Levitar. I listened to you on there, Levitar, brother. So yo, man, you got the amazing book out, and it's bringing a lot of things to light, man. And I just want to discuss it and just let people know what it's about, man, so they can go copy and get that read on.
Yeah, thank you. It's basically, the book is called The Kaepernick Effect, but it's not really about Colin Kaepernick. It's about the effect that he had in hundreds of high schools and colleges around the country. And so the book is about the stories of young people who took a knee to protest racial inequity and police brutality and how that affected their lives. And I got to interview dozens and dozens and dozens of these folks. And the book is really about them. It's their stories. It's like someone said, I could have called the book What to Expect When You're Protesting. Yeah. Because it's like all these different scenarios of what happens. Like, what do you do if your coach has your back? What do you do if your coach stabs you in the back? What do you do if only half your team wants to be with you? What do you do if everybody's with you? What do you do if someone comes down from the stands and tries to hit you in the face? What do you do if someone calls threatening letters to your house, to your mom? Like, all these scenarios in all these people's lives, and they just tell their stories, and it's a powerful document, I think, to the idea of optimism in youth, that they think they can change the world and they're willing to put themselves out there to do it.
Got you. And this is for everybody, man. My main thing I noticed in this whole process was the flip the NFL made. The NFL went from hot, kind of like how the seasons go. It goes from summer to fall to winter, like that. The NFL went from hot to cold like that. We're not with this, we're not with this, we're not with this, we're not with this. George Floyd, we're with this. That's kind of what I noticed. So I know that we seen people taking knees in the Olympics. We seen like high schoolers taking knees. I guess what I actually listened to, I think, on Bomani Jones. I don't mind talking about other podcasts on my podcast. I listen to them all. People like I don't listen to podcasts. I listen to y'all podcasts. So yeah, I'm bored. I listen to all y'all podcasts. And Bomani Jones, I believe, had the military person who actually told Colin Kaepernick to take that knee, and he just had a lot of interesting. So again, I don't know, man. This was very politicized. I'm a political dude. I like politics. I'm into it. I watch CNN, but it's just like this got to the heart of me being a black person. Political, you know what I mean? Like, damn, they really don't care about it. Like, kind of like when you see what happened in Texas with the Haitians. It's like, oh, well, yeah, that's what they do. That's hard. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And it's like, and then I'll stop talking because I'm sure folks have stuff to say, but it's like in all these stories from like red states, blue states, small towns, south, north, big cities, I interviewed all these kids about what happened to them, you know, boy athletes, girl athletes, bunch of different sports, cheerleaders, and the common thread in all of it was that they did this peaceful act of civil disobedience, and the reply was not gee, that's an interesting point, or whoa, we just might have to agree to disagree, the response was always violent.
Yeah.
Either the threats of violence or actual violence. Like, people in this country are not willing to hear things that make them uncomfortable sometimes. You know, even to just marinate with it and have a conversation. It's like, no, we are going to hurt you because you're putting ideas in front of us that we don't want to think about.
Yeah. That's ill, man. What about what you thinking, Soren?
I mean, I think it's a sad indictment on our country. I agree with what David's saying, is that we've gotten to the place where we don't a large segment of our population is unwilling to agree to disagree. It's unwilling to have a dialogue, and that huge percentage of the population, sadly, I think, is, of course, mainly white people that aren't willing to listen, have a discourse, a dialogue, and discuss things that they don't agree with. And we've seen this escalate exponentially throughout the last several years with, of course, social media plays a role into it, racism plays a role, inequalities, fear, confusion, misinformation. And I think it's just, you know, I hope we're getting to a point where these things are getting better, but it doesn't appear that, because, you know, when you say that taking a knee is wrong and that you're against police brutality, like who is for police brutality? Like, I haven't never heard anyone say, oh yeah, police brutality is great. But if you're against what Kaepernick represents or what he was saying, then you're for the systematic police brutality that we've seen since before the United States was a country, in essence. And that, to me, is one of the biggest lost talking points and lost things that we have in this whole dialogue, or this whole monologue, depending on who's talking, is that to me is the biggest travesty of all of this. And it's become, to me, just a disgraceful commentary and show for our country, in my opinion.
Got you. Well, one thing I noticed is that it's being capitalized. You know, America's a capitalist society, so anything that comes on, we're going to figure out a way to make money off of it. So when I start seeing people turn it into merchandise, when it starts to, revolutionaries need to be paid. Activists need to make money, or they cannot be activists because they can't fly to where they got to go. So I understand that part. But when I start seeing the commercialization of it, and when I see the NFL putting BLM flags up after everything that went down with Kaepernick, that's like, again, I'm gonna watch the Steelers regardless, but as a dude, as a black man, I look at that, I'm like, that's the lamest shit I've seen ever, you know what I mean? So the after effects of this, I don't know, it just gives me many different ways to turn up my nose against people who are now supporting it after years of not supporting it. It's just like, wow. It's kind of like Redman album been out 2 years, and now you telling me about the Redman. You know, Redman album came out 2 years ago, dude. You tell me about the Redman album, like, dude, I don't want to hear it from you. I didn't listen to it, you know what I mean? So that's.
And then it's actually more like selling you the bootleg of that 2 years later. Is what this kind of is, you know?
Bootleg like, artifacts tape.
Look, it's selling you after 2 years, like. And that's kind of what it is. Like that kind of tells you where things start to jump the shark, and where when it becomes capitalized, and then people allow it to be capitalized. You know, unfortunately, to a degree, there's kind of positives and negatives to it. Because let's be real, like even historically speaking, you know, Coca-Cola, you know, obviously an Atlanta-based company, started supporting Martin Luther King, which helped them actually expand expand that movement. It wasn't until Wall Street actually got involved. That's what it was. They looked at it as a market share. That's why they wanted to get into the civil rights movement, right? This is a little different, because this is different than just the civil rights. This is a human rights issue, but it's also a criminal justice system thing that I think the capitalization of it is extra nefarious, especially because it's the police who actually are there to defend the rights, not of the people, not to protect the people, but it's a class to protect the upper elite class. That's really what they're there for. They don't really care about protecting and serving people. They're really there to protect the wealth of the wealthy already. So them actually going out here and going out here and trying to expand it is extra nefarious, in my opinion, and or capitalize on it. Because not only that, we have actually already seen the entire quote unquote defund the police movement. Things like qualified immunity get thrown out of all these bills, to get rid of qualified immunity. So it's had an effect. They've been able to present this kind of facade that they support this, but behind the scenes, we know good and well they're putting things in the money in the pockets of the politicians to keep some of these bills to actually make the changes happen. We know that's what they're doing because the police are really there to protect the elite class and always have been. And as soon as you start threatening that, that's when it becomes a problem. That's why we're not seeing qualified immunity and all these things. That's why there was this huge push where this thing would say, well, defund the police is why the Democrats didn't win the election. I don't necessarily think that's particularly true, but it's been used as part of the thing. And that is all being funded by the same interests that are out here making these whole, Black Lives Matter, but only to a certain extent. And that's kind of what I say. They're capitalizing on it because it's hip to do, and there's enough white people that feel guilty really for them to do it.
And me coming from the standpoint of a fan, me and Sans talked about this a lot. I would say that I'm happy that coach told him to take the knee in the way he did, because a lot of people didn't know what was going on at the time when he did that, so like if you were paying attention, for me, as the football side of things, I felt like because Kaepernick wasn't at the time living up to his potential from the prior 2 seasons, it looked like he was just, upset that his job was Gabbard was about to take a job. So like with him sitting down like that, I think the coach pretty much came to him like, look, I know what's going on. Probably everybody else in the world don't know what's going on, even without you playing. But I think it would look better if you're not going to stand up, like go to your knee. And without everybody knowing that, it turned into this big explosion. But with the explosion, like some things in life, sometimes got to be exposed in a way where it might not be at the time what it's about. And I think it snowballed into it a lot more. And then when you saw, like, because Kaepernick was by himself, it didn't give a lot of the other, say, players to get around him, to rally around him, to understand what he was trying to do. I think a lot of them probably thought it was a distraction from his play. You know what I'm saying? But and this is what me and Sam talked about. But then as it kept going, like you said, everybody got into it to where it was like, I think that he probably didn't expect for it to go to the way it did. But when you expose things and you pull that scab back, like all wounds, you expose all of it to be for everyone to see. And then and then later on, you got, like you said, all these different divisions of Black Lives Matter. People want to feel like they want to be involved. So I think they were reaching for things that they feel like, yo, we're going to do this. So it was a lot of confusion with the message. And I think at the end of it, once the higher ups and Roger Goodell and, this is the conversation that we all supposed to have. But like with everything, everybody don't always agree with the conversation. You're going to have people that's not going to agree with one person or this person. But the conversation has to be made and had, because obviously so much was bottled up when you open that Pandora's box. All the shit came out. And now, like Sam said, everybody want to be involved, but these things been happening before Kaepernick took the knee. But I think for this generation, this was supposed to happen for them because it was live in your face. Everything we saw back in the day, Rodney King getting beat up, things like that. That was us, our awakening to be like, damn, they don't care about that dude right now. Even if he did do what he did, it was just, you got to get pummeled like that. So this generation seeing a lot more deaths than we did from police in our times growing up. So it's just like numbing that it is so regular. So I think what Kaepernick did was spark off something that probably was already happening, but in a bigger way because it was him. It got the exposure that it needed. And at the same time, it's still happening. And that's the one part about this whole thing is that it's happening every day with him kneeling or not. And that's the part we got to realize that it has to change in a lot of ways, but it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah. And check it out. That's a great way to put it. Thank you, Sensei, for ending the quarter on a great note. We are out of the third quarter. We are going to the fourth quarter, gentlemen. We're almost home. We can watch Thursday night football. God damn. But first thing I want to talk about the only thing I want to talk about in the fourth quarter is Ice-T slander. Dave, you're on Twitter. Soren, you're on Twitter. Sensei, you're on Twitter. And Ari, you're on Twitter. I went on Lionel Richie's internet a couple days ago, and I saw this. Ice-T really had 0 joints, but he's still a hip-hop legend. That's amazing. Dude is an overall 48 player rating, yet he's in the Hall of Fame. That's what I saw on.
Who said that?
I mean, it was a regular at Twitter, somebody who went viral. It wasn't nobody famous. It was somebody on Twitter who said that, and hip hop Twitter was like, oh.
I saw that. It was great.
So, yo, I had to deal with Ice-T slant. Ice-T gets hammered all the time on the internet, on Twitter, and he's real cool about it. But me personally, I had to deal with Ice-T slander because, again, I'm from the 6 in the morning era. I'm from Colors era. 6 in the morning. Do y'all remember when 6 in the morning came out?
Yeah.
6 in the morning, police at my door.
I mean, the Iceberg album has how many tracks on it? All of them are good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think this is
Body Count. What? Like, what?
Yeah.
Body Count was historic.
Thousands of people there with body count. So, like, you know, people just ignorant, man.
The tension mounts with the body count. And I mean, my God, one of the best movie songs of the entire era, New Jack Hustler.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He took it right out my mouth. I was just about to say that.
Out my face, fool, I'm the illest. Bulletproof, I die harder than Bruce Willis. I mean, that's kind of iconic.
Yeah.
I see as an icon within itself. You know, for him to be what he's like, he always on there like, I'm 63, I'm 67. My man is at the age where he, you know, not supposed to be talked about.
Yes.
And he's relevant as hell. We watch him every day on TV. You know, that counts for something because Ice-T is one of the first rap actors to actually blow up and still make records at the same time. So only other person I can say that was doing that, and LL was doing it, but not as many movies and roles. But at the time, it was only them two.
Ice-T got that Dick Wolf rotation going. Right?
He got Dick Wolf money.
Yeah. I think it's just the long line of the, hate to say, anyone that's not from New York is always going to be thought less of, period. That's just the reality of what it is. I mean, look at the guy I got on my shirt, Schoolie D. He created gangster rap. No one really acknowledged
him, you know, just because he's from Philly, right?
Yeah, but it's because he's not from New York. And the bottom line is that's just what it is in rap. And it's terrible. But that's the reality. And I think someone like Ice-T, even some of the high profile people that came to defend him were like, oh, he was never mainstream or this or that. I'm like, wait a minute. The guy had a platinum album. He had 4 other albums that also went gold. He was on the radio. He was on BET. He was on MTV. He's about as mainstream as you could have been at the time because rap wasn't what it was in the late 90s, early 2000s. And now when Ice-T was at his peak as a musician, he was among the best-selling rappers. And he outsold, if you want to talk about popularity-wise, he outsold almost all of the great rappers of his era. So he was not only releasing incredible music that had a lot of social commentary that I thought was great, but beyond that, moving from the creative side, he also sold a lot of records. So it's just, all of these things are just ludicrous when I see him. I'm just shaking my head, man.
Hey, from a guy who sells no records, check this out. Big up Ice-T. And also, let's plug your book, The History of Gangster Rap, baby. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to plug that, man. The History of Gangster Rap. As a matter of fact, we got one right here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Look,
Ice-T on the cover.
Look who's on the cover. Ice-T.
There you go.
Imagine that.
B.
Imagine that. The History of Gangster Rap in stores worldwide. Please pick up a copy.
They just throw our legends, you know, the people who. I'm gonna tell you the last couple of days, this is personal. I'm gonna tell you two good things I saw. I saw a commercial with Ice-T, big up Ice-T. It was one of his insurance commercials with cars, and he had Mr. Big from Soul Sonic Force in the commercial with him. I said, wait a minute. That's what it's about. He pulled up Soul Sonic Force and got one of them dudes in one of his car commercials. And then the other thing I saw, I forgot about it. So we'll keep moving on.
He got a tire commercial with Stone Cold.
What's that?
He got a tire commercial with Stone Cold right now.
Yo, ain't nobody making more money on commercials than Shaq and Ice-T, man. That's it. That's the list.
They stay in rotation, that's for sure.
And look, Shaq even got all the guys from the NBA on the show with him to be in the commercials too. Like, this is like what it's supposed to be like right now. I try to be saying I was surprised when I seen my man Mr. Big, and I was like, what? I was like, yo, like on a commercial, bro. Like that's astonishing to me. A lot of people see that commercial, but like, yo, that's my Mr. Big.
Yeah, that's Mr. Big, dog. Ice-T, man. So it's all about giving it back. And that's one thing I can say Ice-T, because guess what? Busy B, he lives down here in Baltimore, and he's always in touch with Ice-T. You know, like I just talked to Ice. So it's just like Ice, he looks out for the older cats in the game that you don't have to do that, but that's what we do. You feel me? So, hey, man, there's no Ice-T slander on Sensei and Sports. And you hear the sound, that means the fourth quarter is over, and we about to end this. Fellas, thank you very much for making it through the game. We played a great game. We blew them out, man. This was a blowout right here, man. We got to go celebrate, pop a bottle, pour the drinks, already that's been poured, and we're going to say peace. I just want to say R.I.P. I believe AJ Johnson. Yeah, from Friday. One thing, fellas, that I just turned 49 last week, right? I'm hearing about all these deaths in the 50s. I'm scared to say I'm gonna go to the 50s. Everybody's dying.
So we gotta keep it going.
Man, a lot of deaths, from Black Rob to DMX to I'm just seeing the mortality. Like I've heard that if you make it through your 50s and get it to 60, making it to your 70s and 80s is so much easier. But man, we losing a lot of dudes in their 50s, man. So Ezekiel from Friday, I got the hookup, and he's been a Players Club and all that stuff, Players Ball. Again, I guess that comes with age. You just end up seeing more and more deaths, man. I think we're getting to see a lot more because of social media as well. We're seeing, like, maybe if he would die without social media, we might not have known about. But social media, you know what everybody's doing. So that's my outro, man. R.I.P. to AJ Johnson. It's Friday, man. No doubt. You guys. All right, we'll start with you, man. What you got in the outro, man? How can people check out with you? Send you diapers, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right. I always need diapers and wipes, you know, and
start a diaper
A&D,
fund, baby.
You know, right? Yeah, we already went through that, man. We started that, you know. But yeah, I guess you can. What is it? At Ari Russell on Twitter. You know, help me get 3 more followers so I can.
Hell yeah.
So I don't look like a bot.
Look like Jay Sands. Look like Jay Sands on Twitter.
Yeah. Me and you talk to each other. We're the only friends, right? Yeah. But you know, and also at Ari Russell at for Instagram too. So that's pretty much it. I'm not really working on anything in particular right now. So
but you're always open for engagement and great dialogue. So if you want some real shit, Fuck with Ari on Twitter, and you're gonna get some real shit sent back to you. Now, my man Soren, you got anything to push? Anything on the outro, bro?
Yeah, man. If you guys could just follow me for Unique Access Entertainment. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Of course, it's free. Unique Access ENT on YouTube. And then working on a whole bunch of stuff, and all my social medias at Soren Baker. As previously discussed, we got the Gucci Mane Guide to Greatness in stores now. We got the History of Gangster Rap in stores now, and Unique Access Entertainment. And just had a Rock the Bells article on the Genius I did, so always got something going on.
That's right. That's right. The Jay Sands article coming up. Yeah, man. You got chicks. Man, you busy as hell, man. Hey, Sensei, take us out, baby. Let us know what's going on, man. What's going on with that new Artifacts album produced by Buckwild?
Right now, it's still in the same state as it was in the last.
Jake Palumbo, new joint. Yeah.
Final game is on crazy right now. I'm like, everybody's records is sitting in the pressing plant. I don't know what's going on, but I can actually say tomorrow, me and my man Jake Palumbo, the album comes out tomorrow, Solving Cases, on all digital streaming sites you can go to. It's on there, 12 o'clock midnight. It'll be on sale. I'm proud to have this record come out with Jake, and yeah, that's in the immediate. That's happening tomorrow. Got you. And the man of the hour with all the power. I'm sweating so much, I might need to take a shower. Yo, man, give us the outro, man. Let them know about the book you got out, the book you got coming up, and how to get in contact with you, book you, and all that stuff, baby.
The book's called The Kaepernick Effect. The Twitters is at Edge of Sports. Look forward to hearing from any of you who have any opinions on anything that has to do with Ice-T or Master Ace.
Hey, fellas, thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it. And check this out, man. I'm Jay Sands. That's Ari. That's Storm. That's Dave. That's Sensei. And this is Sensei on Sports, and we out of here. Peace. Fellas. Hey, enjoy the game, fellas. Enjoy the game. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
My son out of here. Sorry about that. My son Jacob is restless.
Okay, Jacob, good. Peace. Bump Lone Catalyst, Jacob. Hey, Jacob, Lone Catalyst. Listen to Lone Catalyst, brother. It's going to change your life. Lone Catalyst. Your dad knows where to find it.
Is that an album?
It's 6 albums about hip-hop. You want to learn about hip-hop? Listen to Lone Catalyst, and you will learn about hip-hop. That's all I can tell you. You will learn about hip-hop. Okay. Hey, fellas.
Thank you for that. I'm trying.
All right, see you later, man.
Job,
Good seeing you, Dave.